Hey, I just got back from a little vacation trip to Florida to see my oldest grandkids. Had a great time for a couple of days. So today is not a project day. Today is one of those days that I really don't like having to work on the car, but we got to. So my plates are up on my shop truck, and it needs a little bit of work before we get it inspected and get the plates renewed. So let's take a look at what we got.
No, you're not bringing home another piece of junk.
Alright, so this has been my trusty shop truck for a while, and I've kind of showed it on here a few times, and it's just a good old hauler. You know, it's a 350 TBI 700 R4. You know, got a nice tow bar on the back, and I paid $800 for this thing. Pulled it out of a buddy's salvage yard and just did a little bit of electrical work, threw a set of tires on it, and I've been driving it well over a year. But there's a few things I need to do to it to get it ready. So let's take a look at what we got. Well, for one, the muffler was completely rusted out, and the tailpipe. So luckily, there's a good tailpipe on this one. It's still pretty solid, so we're gonna pull this tailpipe off of here, save a few bucks. And then I picked that muffler up, just a regular old Amazon $30 turbo muffler. We're gonna stick that on there. I gotta run and get a little longer piece of pipe to put that on there, but that'll save a few bucks. And then let me show you what we got underneath. All right, so I was gonna do an oil change, and this thing had an oil cooler on it, which is kind of nice to have, you know. But man, them hoses are really getting brittle, and they're leaking, and it's like I'm getting to where I don't trust that thing. I'm afraid of blowing a hose on the highway and losing all my oil and being stuck. So what I did, I went over to the parts truck and just pulled the regular old small block oil filter adapter out of there, screwed it up on there, and we're gonna get rid of this thing. Yeah, I didn't want to spend the money for those hoses, and I don't know what kind of shape the cooler's in. Like this thing's old, you know, it's a 92. So we got the oil drain, and I'm letting that thing drain out, and I got to run up and get a filter and get some oil. We'll take care of that. There's no horn on this thing. I got to rig up some kind of horn. I'm looking all over trying to find where the horn is, and I don't see one anywhere. Don't see a wire hanging anywhere. So I don't know if I'm just missing it or what. I know it doesn't work. And you can see on the dash that somebody put one of those cheapo horn buttons on it at one time. So I'm just going to pick up a cheap horn up at the parts store while I'm there, and we'll just wire it up and go that route. And then that should about do it. I do this and do the exhaust, and hopefully it'll pass inspection. So kind of check the front end. Everything's tight, greased everything. I know brakes are good on it. I put front brakes on it not too long ago. I think all the lights work. So yeah, it's been a good old hauling vehicle. It's pulled a lot of loads. So I'm gonna keep it going as long as it wants to keep going. Okay, I'm gonna take a run up to the parts store, and we'll come back and we'll take a look at this stuff and see what we got to do on the exhaust to get it right. All right, so we got the tailpipe pulled off this thing, and it's good and solid. It's had a stub welded onto it before, but I don't care about that because that fits right into that muffler, so we're in good shape. So I just need to run up and get a section of pipe to attach it to that front, and we'll pull all this out. And I'll tell you what, this is Hoosier engineering for sure. So we got, and part of this was mine, so I'm not picking on anybody. That's where the converter was. Then we got another little section. Then we got another little section. So we're gonna try to get rid of some of those joints and make that one piece of pipe. I'll see if they've got one long enough to do that with. But all right, so we're getting along here. That oil filter's up there, oil cooler adapter's up there draining. As soon as that thing's done, I'll just cut those hoses. I'll save that thing. You never know when you might need it for another engine. So, all right, so there's a junk tailpipe. That thing's full of holes. Junk muffler, and it's got full of holes. But got a new one on there, and looks pretty good. Sounds a little healthier than that old one. It's nice to have the sound of a turbo muffler is almost better than the sound of a stock muffler with a hole in it. Fortunately, they had one piece of 3-inch pipe that was 18 inches long, so I kind of ended up with all my joints still in there. But oh well. I welded that one, so at least we got that joint out of the way. I got my oil filter changed out up there, cut off the oil cooler lines, and that's working good. No leaks. Fired it up. All right, so the only thing I need to do yet is get a horn working, and I actually found what I think is the horn wire. It's down here somewhere. Yeah, right here. I found this green wire, which I think is usually the horn. No horn down there. So I picked up a generic horn from the parts store, and we'll plug it in there and see if the button works. And if not, I got a button. We'll hook that up. So, all right. So we're just about there. Let's see what we got with this thing. All right. Well, I couldn't get this horn to work, but I did get that horn to work. And that's pretty anemic sounding, but you know what? It'll get it through inspection, so that's all I care about. Okay, so that's going to be it for today's short video of getting the shop truck ready. So let's go inside, do a quick talk with the Lord, and we'll call it on this one. Hey all, thanks for joining me on that quick video. I know it was kind of a short one, so I just had to do the work on that van. I thought I would throw a video together and show what I was doing while I was doing it, and we'll get back on sanding on the Chevy tomorrow. So anyway, while I was in Florida, the announcement came of Roe versus Wade being overturned, and as a Christian and as a pro-life person, I was just floored. You know, we kind of all knew it was coming with the talk of the Supreme Court earlier. And I was actually a high-risk baby. In 1967, my mom was pregnant with me in her 40s after she had lost 2 kids. And she told me that, you know, even though this was long before Roe Wade in 67, that the doctors offered her a medical abortion because they thought there was a high probability that she might not live through it. And she actually came close not to living through it. She hemorrhaged quite a bit when I was born, and she was in the hospital. I think she told me almost over a month or 2 months. And I actually went home with an aunt and uncle and stayed with them while she was healing up. But she never regretted making that decision. And even though Mom was a Democrat, she was very pro-life. In 1979, I think it was, we were Catholic, and Pope John Paul II was coming to Chicago to speak on the sanctity of life, and there was chartered buses going up there from various churches, and she took me up there and got to hear the Pope talk about the sanctity of life, and I don't know how many times over the years she talked about it, but she was always kind of my hero spiritually, and especially when it came to that. You know, a lot of my views came from my mom and you know, her faith. So anyway, now that this 50-year milestone is reached, we've overturned Roe Wade and it goes back to the states, now what? So I think we as Christians just really need to be compassionate to the other side. I know there's going to be a lot of efforts trying to turn that Supreme Court decision back and trying to try to legalize it in the states. But I think this is really an opportunity for Christians that we need to step up and just be people of integrity and people of compassion. And when we explain our views, explain them lovingly, and engage the other side and talk to those who are pro-choice and just help them try to understand. We're definitely not against women or trying to put women back into or take their rights away. We just feel that when it comes to human rights, that the child in the womb has got the same human rights and the same right to life that the mom does and the dad does, and that the Lord values those rights to life and values the baby as a person. And so this is absolutely nothing against women or trying to take anything away from women. This is just saying that we feel that baby is a person and is valuable as we are. So we definitely need to pray. We definitely need to be ready to open our pocketbooks and help out, like the pregnancy care centers. There's a lot of women out there who getting pregnant is not good news, and it's it can be a struggle for them financially. It can be a struggle for them emotionally, and if we're going to preach the pro-life word, we need to be out there and we need to minister to these women, in word and in deed. So let's just make sure that we are treating people respectfully this week. That we're being compassionate, that we're being loving, and that when we talk about it, that they see Jesus in us, and not be hateful or vindictive or vengeful. That's not what the Lord would want. So I'll leave you with that this week. Let's say a quick prayer and we'll end this one. Father, we just thank you for this monumental decision of this of Roe Wade being overturned, and we just ask you that you would minister to any women out there who are struggling with an unplanned pregnancy, and just that you would help us as Christians to step up and step forward, be obedient to you, and to minister to them in the way that you would want us to. And we ask this in the name of your precious Son, Jesus. Amen. Okay, hit like, hit subscribe, and back on Chevy next video. All right, later.